What's good, everybody? This is Dario Hunt from Blue My Fearless. I'm back with another entry into my Let's Talk Music series, where of course I talk all things music and kind of give my opinions about some of the latest roundup of albums that have come out and that I've been listening to. And as always, if you are enjoying any of the videos that I'm putting up, please smash that like and subscribe button for me. And if you like any of the gear I rock in these videos like this, you can also head over to our official site and grab some for yourself. But let's get right into it. There's definitely a folk background and underpinning to all of her music and sound in general, and I think that's kind of what she's known for anyways. But it is not so easy. It's not so easily definable as saying it is just a folk album, because it takes so many different styles and things from different genres and pieces all together into its own cohesive sound that we can't really define exactly what type of music she's making. But you just know that it is really, really good. And while at times it may come off as, a bit simplistic and straightforward, it is really all the little details, particularly into the production, that come together and create such a textured and layered sound that her incredible voice comes through and just puts it all together and takes it over the top. There's nothing straightforward about this project, particularly when it comes to her lyric and her songwriting style. You find yourself wondering what exactly she is trying to say and if there is even a deeper meaning to what she is talking about. But there is a lot of beauty in that mystery, and this is a truly gorgeous album and one of my favorite albums to come out all of last month and possibly this year. Vampire Weekend are back, and this is an album that I've definitely been looking forward to all year. And I have to say that this is probably their brightest and most upbeat sounding project that I can definitely remember hearing from them. And it definitely feels like the soundtrack to any sort of indie film that you could think of. It is a fairly straightforward project, but the kind of upbeat, positive nature of it all really give it reason to be so. There is not a ton of conflict here, and everything that they lay out, it can be taken pretty much at face value. While it can feel a bit corny and a bit cheesy at times, there is nothing wrong with a generally happy project, and this is a happy project from front to back. Extremely light, and I found myself, kind of head nodding and foot tapping throughout the most of it, and at the end of the day, isn't that what music is all about. The Beast You Are seems like an extremely appropriate title for this album, because from front to back, this is a unrelenting listen. I don't necessarily know how you would classify this genre-wise, but it is definitely heavy rock, and it definitely gets the blood flowing from the opening sound to the very end. It doesn't let up, while there are a few interludes and moments where it kind of tries to slow things down a bit. The best parts are when it's going full speed 100% of the time. It left me feeling like I need to decompress a bit after what I had just been through. I definitely got heavy vibes of like late 90s, early 2000s kind of punk rock and some definite Green Day type of influences, but only in the best possible ways. They're definitely not afraid to talk about, kind of feelings and emotions here, particularly when it comes to like anxiety and feelings of anxiousness and dealing with love and whatnot, which is a kind of staple of that type of genre of music. But they are definitely able to back it up with very strong vocals and very good production for the most part throughout. I wasn't particularly blown away by anything that I heard. It felt pretty standard fare for kind of that type of music, but it is extremely well done, and I highly suggest that people check this one out. It's definitely more in that traditional R&B type of lane that you definitely don't hear so much of these days, but he does infuse a lot of soul and funk into his music that definitely gives its own flavor compared to anything else that's really out there at the moment. The production is all fairly smooth and seductive, and the instrumentation is so well done that I can only imagine how this all sounds live. And his strong falsetto definitely gave me some Miguel vibes, which is a very good thing, and he is more than able to carry this album all on his own. Now, it is pretty long and can feel like it drags on a bit, particularly compared with the length of albums that we get these days, but I still found it enjoyable from front to back, and it's one that I could easily throw on and just leave playing without having to skip. I've never been the biggest Logic fan, but I generally like the music that he puts out, particularly with some of his earlier stuff. But his last few projects have left me feeling like, he's wearing out his welcome. But with this one, I'd have to say that he redeemed himself more than a little bit. It's a project that feels more in line with kind of his alter ego, Bobby Tarantino type of tapes than it would his kind of Logic projects. Wherein it is definitely more in that kind of trap lane and, you know, kind of just hard bars type of delivery, which I actually enjoy a lot from him when he does it right. And here, he does it right for the most part and is even able to get some fantastic features that you really wouldn't expect him to get. He continues to surprise me in that area probably the most. And while he does still kind of talk about the usual things that people kind of criticize him for, and he does still give you sort of those gimmicky type of songs, is definitely far more toned down than anything we've gotten recently. She is one that I wouldn't say has been super high on my list of anticipated artists and projects, but the fact that she is signed to J. Cole and Dreamville has, of course, piqued my interest. And to me, with this one, she is definitely kind of their version of SUGA, because there is such that kind of parallel between TDE and Dreamville. And much like SZA's early projects, there is a lot of enjoyable music to listen to, but none of it is really all that memorable. And it is one that I can definitely see she's still kind of trying to figure out her lane. It took SZA more than a few projects to kind of get to where she is now. And I definitely think that she has the potential to reach there. And she definitely has moments of flashes of kind of greatness here. It's just overall, it's not the most memorable project to come out. Fairly straightforward soul music that shows she has potential. Out of everybody out of the lock, Styles P had definitely been the most consistent out of the group, and out of all the current music coming from them, his has definitely been the most enjoyable. While he doesn't deliver anything out of the ordinary here, he does remain consistent. It is the same quality lyrics and bars that we come to expect with him, and the same quality production that feels somewhat modern, but still kind of sticks to the style that we expect from him without it feeling too outdated. So if you're kind of looking for a happy medium between those older days of hip hop and kind of a sound now, this is a decent project. I'll say it now, I am not a fan of Brockhampton, and while I can kind of see why people are kind of so big on them, they have never really clicked or resonated with me in the least bit. But I will admit talent when I see it, and Kevin Abstract definitely has talent. As a solo artist, it allows him to create something that is far more cohesive than anything that I ever really remember hearing from them as a group. And he does a really good job of taking different styles and sounds from all these different genres and piecing it all together to create something new and unique to him. And on top of all that, Arizona Baby is a shockingly open and honest version of him kind of speaking his truth. So I applaud him for that. Labrinth, Shea, and Diplo formed like Voltron to create something that is below average. On paper, this formation sounds wonderful, but in practice, it doesn't really feel like they ever really got outside of their comfort levels or outside of their lanes that they've been known for. It really just feels like they were mailing each other verses and beats to kind of finish later. There's nothing here that really wowed me or lived up to the name billing. It's all fairly generic, standard dance, pop music that you can get from almost anybody these days. But that's it for this week's Let's Talk Music. What do you guys think about the albums that I talked about? Which ones did you love? Which ones did you hate? Is there anything that you are particularly listening to? Is there anything that I did not talk about here that you think I should talk about or that I should at least check out and give a listen to? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, if you are liking these videos, please smash that like and subscribe button for me. And if you like any of the gear that I rock in these videos like this, you can head over to the official site and grab some for yourself. But I'll be back shortly with another one of these. Until then, I'll catch you guys soon. Peace.